I've had occasion, I mean, especially on the topic of autism, Jenny McCarthy's name has come up quite a few times when we're talking about inoculations. And I just want to know your feelings on that, because I know, you know, people are split on that. Society's changing greatly. But, I mean, you've probably read a lot about what she said.
I've read a lot about what she said. I've read a lot about what opponents of her views have to say.
Okay. I think Penn and Teller even were opponents of her views, yeah.
Look, my pediatrician
Yeah.
will say what I'm about to say far less delicately. I'm very sympathetic and empathetic with her views. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. This looks amazing. Thank you.
So I'm incredibly empathetic with what she's trying to achieve and wanting to do best for her son.
Yes.
I, however, would prefer to rely upon, I'll listen to any argument, you know, the lawyer in me.
Yeah.
But I would prefer to rely upon the advice and opinions of those with expertise rather than celebrity.
Yeah.
I'm concerned that on two fronts.
Yeah,
One is,
of
as a
course.
celebrity, she has a pulpit and a microphone that is not available to many, and her credibility
course.
is enhanced by her celebrity, which means she speaks much more loudly into a wider audience than I ever can, or the experts I refer to can. At the same time, I think she's off on the data.
Yeah.
I'm a full believer that we don't have the full data, and that it is.
Well, someone who's great with research, too.
And again, the type of law we practiced was all about ambiguity.
Yeah.
It wasn't statute law. It wasn't, you know, black and white. So the ambiguity, actually, I love ambiguity.
Yeah.
So here you have an area where we're not sure. You know, if we were 15 years ago, we would be in the dark ages of autism. The strides we've made are absolutely marvelous. At the same time, even with incomplete knowledge, you still got to make a decision. So you make a decision on the best advice you've got and what your gut tells you.
Yeah. But you're saying her research isn't really great, so...
I'm saying that I'm not saying she may have studies to back her up, and she may have PhDs and others with like credentials to the people whose opinions I prefer.
It's really good.
But I think that, I think she's wrong, to put it bluntly. So, twofold. One is, I'm concerned about her publicizing her views so emphatically, but more importantly, the idea that there is a cure or a silver bullet for autism is, to my mind, bump.
Yeah.
Is
it giving people false hope, or?
It gives people false hope, but it also gives people unnecessary guilt.
Yeah.
So, Toby was diagnosed 2.5, 3. We got the stack of paper, as I said, from the Geneva Center. I'm reading it, it's a tearjerker.
Yeah.
And I'm not ready for a life of 24, you know, I don't know what it is yet, but I'm just envisioning the worst. 24/7 care.
Yeah.
Daddy's sitting there doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And routine kills me.
Yeah.
So, I started to get sad. I started to get angry. You know, 12 steps, grief, and all that stuff. And I realized that if I had those feelings and maintained those feelings, and I'm not saying don't have them, you're going to have them. But if I maintain those feelings long term, they would be seen by Toby.
Yeah.
So,
no different than if you were coming home from your old job all stressed out.
Exactly right. Or even if, you know, it goes with anyone. You and I can have a conversation if we're friends long enough and you're going to see it.
Yeah.
Now, Toby has challenges. But the idea that Toby ever saw in my eyes disappointment, anger, that he was damaged goods would be the most heartbreaking, cruel, in my view, and self-defeating thing you could ever do with a child.
Especially what we were just talking about before, right? Or how you're teaching him just about your vault, right?
Right.
White voice glasses.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
And again, so I was still angry, I was still seething, I was frustrated, and I was anxious beyond all means.
Yeah.
So my prescription for myself, I stood in front of the mirror every day for 6, 9 months, I don't even remember, and said the words, "My son, Toby, has autism," or something like that.
Yeah.
For first a half hour.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, it could take a minute, but I did it until I stopped crying and stopped feeling sorry for myself. You know, because frankly, I'm not sorry for myself anymore. When Toby was 2, when Toby was 3, I might have given him the silver bullet if there was a cure.
Yeah.
I would never, ever do that now. Why? One, I don't think there is one. So I think the silver bullet is actually false hope. I think I would be disappointed in the outcome. Two, I also think that a silver bullet implies that your kid needs a cure.
Yeah.
Autism has no cure in my view. I may be proven wrong. I don't know if I want to be proven wrong. I'm still ambiguous on that. But the idea that
It's different gifts, though.
oh, absolutely. So Toby is the smartest individual I know, and he thinks differently. When I say smart, Toby is not going to be able to take a box of documents from a case and put the legal case together in the same way I can. Now,
You can figure other things out, though.
he's 13 now. I'm 50 now. I've had 13 years of experience and more as a lawyer.
Yeah.
I get that. But Toby's view on the world is so honest, so perceptive. It may be different, and he may see different things than you do, but it's absolutely a gift. Give the kid the silver bullet, and what do I lose? You know, so my view at this point is I will do anything I can for my kid. If it turns out that gluten, sushi, anything
All
else
these things are
is
causing
not good for him,
Yeah.
I'll experiment with it. I'll try it.
Yeah.
So I tried anything. I know parents, you know, all parents try anything, even
course.
parents without any issues. But in our case, if I can get a 50% hit rate, you know, of things that work, I'm a star.
Yeah.
I think the rate of success is much lower. And what works today with this kid won't necessarily work tomorrow
As with any
or
kid.
with another kid.
Yeah.
So, you know, you try what you need to try. But I would not go for a cure. I don't, because I'd lose something. That's changing your kid.
Yeah.
Sure, I don't want him to have a meltdown here. I wish he had, you know, more hair and can dunk on LeBron James, although he has big hair. But I'm not changing the kid. So come back to Jenny McCarthy.
Yeah.
I am concerned that she presents in a very amplified way.
She has the platform, yes.
She does some false hope, but also the guilt. You know, parents of kids with challenges feel guilty enough.
Yeah.
You know, is it something in my genetic makeup? Is it because I did this as a college student that my kid turned out this way?
Yeah.
You know, and you know, am I doing harm by feeding him gluten, by doing this, by not subjecting him to this treatment or that treatment? I think that's a burden that we can all do without. You know, we're trying hard enough as it is.
Yeah.
The added guilt.
I think all parents have guilt to some
Of course
degree.
they do.
Yeah.
Of course they do. But you know, it's one thing to have guilt that we've all experienced.
Yeah.
I didn't watch my kid and he bonked his head at the playground.
Yeah.
You know, he choked and vomited because I wasn't looking while he ate that big grape. That's not the stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's when you try to camp onto or use a infantile science, and infantile only in the sense of in its infancy, not in the, you know, other sense.
Yeah.
That
It's the new big thing.
Maybe it is the new big thing.
Yeah.
Again, we have my own views on that.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, it gets presented as the new big thing.
Right. And I'm all for innovation, you know, in business and in this area, in every other area. But
You want
I'm
the
very,
science to be there.
I'm cautious in making claims. That's the lawyer in me. You know, so I don't want to make claims that I can't either back up or at least explain on the basis of evidence and learned intuition. And I'm a big fan of intuition. Because again, ambiguity is all around us, uncertainty, but you do the best you can.
Yeah.
And I may be proven wrong down the road. But I'm as concerned with how we live our lives as parents, how we raise our kids, and how we prepare them, then just as I am more so than I am with cure. So I'll give you this example by way of
Or
analogy.
I guess cookie cutter answers to all parents too.
Oh, there's no cookie cutter answer. No, there's no cookie cutter answer. So, I have a friend who is an AIDS researcher. He is one of the leading AIDS researchers and practitioners in the world. And while he's on the front lines, doing all sorts of things, and he's familiar with the research towards cure. His view is, if I could put, you know, 10%, 20%, 50% of the cure budget into treatment and into prevention, we wouldn't have to worry about a cure.
Yeah.
Now, that's a stark example. It may not apply completely in this context, but let's train our parents, let's support our parents, let's support our kids, and let's support our kids, rather than search for an elusive cure, which in my view presumes damaged goods. In the same way, I don't want Toby to see I'm disappointed. He cannot see in my eyes or in my behaviors that he is damaged goods. Because autism isn't a disease. It will not kill him. It will not make him any more or less healthy. It will just create differences, some of which are dynamite, some of which are challenging.
What do you, I mean, just even, we're talking as dads here. What do you think? I've come across quite a few dads online. One guy's name is Autism Daddy, comes to mind. He's a dad blogger. I don't know if you've ever come across him.
I have not.
No? Okay. What do you think of guys showing their lives like that online, talking about their relationship with their kids? How do you feel about that?
I think if the dad is prepared to do it, which typically to me means he wants to do it, he's driven to do it, then he should do it. It's cathartic for him, it's cathartic for me, it's helpful to the community.
I mean, he's putting his life on display. Do you feel it's putting his child on display?
Well, we are who we are. Yeah. So I know families who don't disclose to teachers, to doctors, to others. You know, the idea that I am sending my kid into your care as his teacher and I'm not arming you with information about him that will be of great benefit to him and to you for him strikes me just personally as a difficult and counterproductive decision. My job for Toby has nothing to do with me. Sure, I'd like it all to be swimmingly, and I don't want this moment to be this way or that way, or I want it to be this way or that way. But
you've kind of taken your ego out of it.
Yeah, my ego ain't my amigo, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, in certain contexts. So here, having a diagnosis and being able to communicate it to people who matter is hugely beneficial. So in the school context, I got a vocabulary and I can provide assistance to the teacher in a format that he or she, maybe they don't understand it, but I can get you up to speed within a context.
Well, you're basically helping a relationship there, too, right?
It's totally self-serving, I'll be honest.
Yeah, of course.
Anything that helps my kid helps me, but it also helps me, you know, in my management.
But it'll help that teacher in future, too. And have relationships with other kids.
Now, I told you before that I spend an hour on average a week. I've been called, I say to all the schools, either my kids attend and others, if this issue, if you suspect, if you've got an issue that I might be able to help on, call. So, once a year, on average, I'm guessing, I get a call from a teacher saying, we got a kid, parents are resistant, you know, put them in touch with me, or at least let me help you raise the issue, because again, it's not different than other conditions. I think of alcoholism or drug abuse, or other challenges. You gotta want it. You gotta embrace it, and you gotta realize that you may not be as powerful as you want to be, as you hope you would be, coming back to the ego point.
Yeah, of course.
So that's part of the game. You know, and my job in that moment when I ask for advice is to try to arm the teacher or the or the cousin or the aunt,
everybody,
you know, to ask the questions, to coax. You know, the realization that maybe I do need some advice here. You know, can't force feed this. As my son will say, I don't want sushi. You know, you're not going to make me eat sushi no matter how good it's for.
Exactly.
And you got to be ready for this. So I would encourage families not to hide from the diagnosis. There is no stigma. You know, I'm not a religious guy, but I love the Job story. You know, and I get what I can handle, and you can handle anything. Now with kids, as much as I handle, I love it. I want more of it.
That's my wife's favorite line. You're only given what you can handle.
Absolutely. But for me, I can't imagine living without kids. I can't imagine living without my kids, as different as they are, as challenging as they are. Because the more the challenge, the greater the joy of the success. So, what's fatherhood mean? I live through my kids, I will live on after my kids, but you know, there is nothing better to me than being able to live through the eyes of more than one person.
Yeah.
You lose the myopia, you lose your own prejudices, your own predilections.
Yeah.
It really is a wonderful thing
That's
to
amazing.
have your kids, you know, engage you on what interests them in a way that really brings out their style, their interests, and their talents.
Yeah.
It's been awesome.
That's amazing. Jamie, you're a great role model. Thank you so
Hey.
much for coming
Pleasure.
today. I know this is really going to help a lot of people. So
Anything I can do.
I really appreciate it. Thanks, Jamie.
Great.
Okay.
That was awesome.